Shalom, more praise to Yahweh Shemel Shah, double honors to the Apostle GMS. I'm now Allah coming at you on the video. And I'm going to continue with this part 2. With the last video about mortifying your members. These are important things. You know, you read these scriptures, you got to know what these scriptures mean. Alright, oh, this brother said this. Okay, let me write that down. Okay, let me remember that. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you might read these things, you might not be 100% sure what it means. Or you may be 100% sure what it means, but not really know how to break it down. So it's Romans 8:13. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. So if we live after the flesh, we're going to die. Well, we got to see, what does it mean, live after the flesh? We all got flesh. We flesh and bones, right? What does it mean, flesh and blood? What does it mean by live after the flesh, you're going to die? You shall die. Galatians chapter 5, verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness. Look at uncleanness.
Strong's G 167, akatharsia.
Akatharsia. In the moral sense, the impurity of lustful, luxurious, and profligate living. There you go. Look at the word profligate. A person given to wildly extravagant and usually grossly self-indulgent expenditure. See that? So that's an example of uncleanliness. Oh, I'm sorry, of being profligate. Okay. Right here it says suggestive of the fact that sensuality and evil doctrine are frequently associated. So when it's talking about uncleanness, it's talking about, you know, engaging in those sensual pleasures, those things that are pleasing to the flesh, those temptations, which that leads to uncleanliness. If a person bears false witness as a liar, that's an example of uncleanliness. You're not clean spiritually. You're like tainted as a person with a negative spirit on them that'll commit an act of deception. You know, that's an example of uncleanliness. It don't mean like, you know, you woke up in the morning 7 o'clock and you ain't take your shower till 7:10. That's not what that's talking about. You know, you work out and you sweaty. That's not what that's talking about. Got a fornication. Illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals. See, these are all examples of fornication. It's now, depending on what kind of the concept of the scripture, fornication can mean spiritual fornication, because the children of Israel are the Most High's wife. It tells you in Jeremiah 6:2, I have likened thee into a comely and delicate woman. Comely meaning beautiful. So the Most High is our husband, and we're like his wife. We're joined unto him by marriage, by way of the Lord's statutes and commandments, by the word. So fornication could be like spiritual fornication, like you going to another god, worshiping another god, another doctrine. That's an example of fornication. But fornication could reference adultery, or it could reference all of these different other forms of sexually decadent behavior. As a matter of fact, see, it says metaphorically the worship of idols. See, it can mean adultery. Idolatry, which I could also be referenced as adultery, because you're going to another god. It was a little more there, but that was the point. Lasciviousness.
Strong's G 766, as elgaya.
As elgaya. Unbridled lust, excess, lasciviousness, wantonness, outrageousness, shamelessness, insolence. So it's an unbridled lust, a lust that can't be controlled. Broadly speaking, signifies whatever is disgraceful. There you go. Moral impurity, that which is defiled by soiling the clean. So it's just talking about being spiritually unclean, spiritually impure, morally impure. Okay, because if a person's morals aren't right, their spirit isn't right. So that's an example of what it's talking about.
Strong's G 167, akatharsia.
Akatharsia. I just went back to that because I wasn't sure if I pressed it for y'all brothers to hear. Let's continue on. Idolatry. See? Witchcraft. That's another example of it. You know, you're not supposed to be going to see palm readers and, you know, fortune tellers. That Santeria, Brujeria stuff. You know, voodoo or voodoo, whatever you want to pronounce it. You know? Not really supposed to be getting into that stuff at all. Whatsoever. It's witchcraft. Hatred, you know, that's like hating a brother. Smells in the faith. Variants, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies. Lord will I'll go into probably go into everything deeper on another lesson. Because this lesson's already about 6 minutes and I got more scriptures left. So I can't really go into every word there. But Lord will, what I'll do is I'll go and do a video about the work of the flesh and give scriptures about each, example of each, you know, so that brothers get a full understanding of it. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they would do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. So these are an example of the lust of the flesh. Matter of fact, let me go to variants.
Recently? No, like.
Strong's G 2054. Eris.
Eris. Contention, strife, wrangling. See? Strife, quarrel. Rivalry, contention, wrangling. Like, you're not supposed to be like that. And the Apostle Paul is saying this stuff because these kind of stuff was going on in the church that the Apostle Paul was writing these letters to. Emulations.
Strong's G 2205. Zelos.
Zelos. Excitement of mind, ardor, fervor of spirit. Right to the point. And envious and contentious rivalry, jealousy. There you go. See? Envious and contentious with one another. Wrath, that goes right into anger. Strife, that goes into contentions. Seditions. Let's see.
Strong's G 1370. Dechastasia.
Dechastasia. Dissension, division. Literally standing apart. Like when scriptures say, it gives you an example, Romans 16:17. When the scriptures say, mark them which cause division, that's an example of sedition. People that's causing division. You may have a particular group, right? But among that group, you got a group of guys say, you know what? We're gonna go up against the head. We're gonna go set ourselves apart and do our own thing, and we're gonna battle against the group we was once a part of. And if you're doing that and you're not righteous, then you're going off. Because you've had groups in the past, Israelite groups, and when they was teaching the wrong thing, you had brothers that looked into the scriptures and said, wait a minute, this stuff is being taught is not correct. And they left. And they started to teach the word the correct way and started to rebuke the group they was once a part of. Well, that's righteous. But if you're a part of a group, just as an example, and you're teaching the right thing, then if you bring about sedition, then that's wicked. Okay? Heresies.
Strong's G 139. Hyresis.
Hyresis. Dissensions arising from diversity of opinions and aims. So that's a heresy. A dissension arising from diversity of opinions and aims. Now, how could this be referencing to somebody that's wicked? If a person has an idea of the scriptures that's not correct. It says dissension arising from diversity of opinions and aims. In other words, you got your own aim, your own agenda, your own goal. You know? That's wrong. Okay? Envyings, murders, drunkenness. Drunkenness, you know, self-explanatory. That doesn't mean you can't drink alcohol and get drunk. But you're not supposed to, because the scriptures speak about the Lord drink. But you're not supposed to be a person like an alcoholic. A person that's always drunk all the time. A person that can't function without it. You always got to drink. That's a problem. That's a problem. revelings.
Strong's G 2970. Komos.
Komos. That goes into like this is a nocturnal and riotous procession of half drunken and frolicsome fellows. He's referencing the feast of Bacchus, which is an ancient Roman deity. You know, an example of reveling was like the Labor Day parade is a form of reveling, or the Dominican Day parade, or Puerto Rican Day parade. Those are examples of reveling, believe it or not. Those are examples of revelings, because there's a nocturnal and riotous procession. Riotous, a riot, a lot of noise, a lot of people. Procession. A procession is like when you got like a people marching like in a forward manner. See if I got the word procession. Continuous forward movement. There you go. A group of individuals moving along in an orderly, often ceremonial way. Like a Labor Day parade, you got the floats and everybody's walking forward and marching. That's an example of half-drunken and frolicsome fellows who after supper parade through the streets with torches and music in honor of Bacchus or some other deity. See? Not just Bacchus, but other deities as well. And that's how they used to worship those gods in the ancient world. And sing and play before houses of male and female friends, hence used generally of feast and drinking parties that are protracted till late at night and indulge in revelry. Now that don't mean that, let's say you can't have let's say you have some kind of get together at your house and y'all drinking, having fun. That's not a problem. But if you out there, man, we gotta go to the Labor Day parade, man, and you all out there marching with the people and all of that, you're not really in the right spirit, because we're not about pleasing the flesh, and we're not about that. You know what I'm saying? That's not the mentality you're supposed to have. Because when they was doing that worship of a god in the ancient world. Let's say, oh well, it's just a parade. We're not doing that in the same manner, worshiping a god. But at the same time, if you're a person of the truth, you're not gonna be into that stuff anyway. Now let's say you're having something at your house, a cookout, or it's a party in your backyard. Now that's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? But come on, obviously you gotta use wisdom. You can't have people all, dancing on tables and none of that kind of, you know what I'm saying? I'm just using these as examples. You know what I mean? So it's like a carousal. That's specifically what it's talking about. A wild drunken party or celebration. So you're not supposed to be doing none of that kind of stuff. Oh, you're having a party in my backyard, brother. And then you got chicks twerking and people shaking their ass on the tables and a soca suds party. Come on, man. Nah, we ain't with none of that. A noisy or drunken feast or social gathering. So nah, we're not supposed to be doing none of that. See, the noun carousal describes a rowdy gathering that involves drinking too much alcohol. See? A carousal describes a rowdy gathering, so we're not supposed to be like that. Like, let's say you're having a little get-together, it's chill, laid back. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into that kind of stuff anyway, so I wouldn't be throwing one of those. I'm just using this, just going through the scriptures. Okay? So envyings, murders, drunkenness, and revelings and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I've also told you in time past, that they would do such things should not inherit the kingdom of the Most High, because their mind not in the right place. Alright? They're focusing on the wrong things, pleasing the flesh. So let's go back here. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. So if you live after the flesh, those things that I mentioned, that the scriptures just mentioned that I read, you're going to die. That doesn't mean you're literally going to die right then and there, but it leads to death. Because why? You're not living after the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahshua. You got to mortify your members. You got to separate yourself from those things. And with those things, it takes discipline. It takes growth. It takes maturity. You got to grow in the spirit. The more and more you're in the truth, the more and more you begin to separate yourself from those worldly things. You notice the things that you thought mattered don't matter anymore. And it's all about this truth, this word. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're a carnal type, but you ain't supposed to be all into that carnal stuff. I mean, you on Instagram flashing jewelry and throwing around money, popping bottles. You ain't in the right spirit. And it's going to be revealed, man. It's going to be revealed. It's going to be, at some point, the Most High going to reveal it. For if you live after the flesh, you shall die. But if you, through the spirit, do mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live. But if through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, you mortify the deeds of the body, meaning through Yahweh Shah's spirit, okay, through faith in Him, you mortify the deeds of the body, you put it to death, you deprive it of its power to lead you into temptation, because this does cometh not but by prayer and fasting. If you do that, then you're going to live, because you're going to do the righteous things that are pleasing to the Most High, that can lead you to the kingdom of heaven. And there's still a couple more parts to this too. So that I'm going to close and say, oh, praise the Yahweh Shem Shah, that belongs to Pt.2 GMS. I hope you learn something. Shalom.